Hi all, welcome up to the webinar on running continuous effortless testing using CircleCI and LambaTest. We will be working today on how exactly we are gonna run CircleCI tests using CircleCI, how to kind of install them, how to kind of use CircleCI for day-to-day continuous testing pipeline, and how LambaTest fits into this picture. So I really appreciate you guys kind of joining us for this webinar in this crazy times. I know that a lot of people are, most of you all will be working from home. It would be a difficult time for you guys as well, in this totally different way to work. And we hope that our tools can kind of help you out in this situation and make it a little bit better. So in this webinar today, joining me is Micheal V. Also known as Vinny, and as well as me. I am Mudit Singh. I'm Director of Product and Growth at LambaTest. And most of this time would be taken by Vinny. He would be helping us out in areas around the CircleCI. How does that CircleCI kind of fits into your toolchain? How CircleCI kind of works in your CI/CD pipeline? And the most important, how the orbs work. So CircleCI has an area called orbs. So the orbs kind of integrates your different platforms into each other into one coherent, continuous area to kind of make sure that your world is going smoothly, your CI/CD pipeline is smoothly. And after that, after the part of Vinny, we are gonna see also how LambaTest fits into the picture, how LambaTest helps in your continuous integration and continuous testing pipelines. And then after that, after this is gonna take around 45 to 60 minutes, and after that we're gonna run a Q&A session. So if you are using, if you are on this webinar to Zoom, you will find a chat option. Feel free to ask your questions in the chat after the Q&A. After the session, we are gonna run a Q&A session where me and Vinny would be helping you out with any questions that you will have, and we will see it from there. So there is no hard stop to the webinar. Be sure that it's going to take around 1 hour to like 1 hour 20 minutes, not more than that. So if you have not grabbed a cup of coffee, then now's your time. Vinny, I'm gonna pass it on to you now. Maybe you can help us out with how the CircleCI kind of works.
Yeah, sure thing. Let's see here. If you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen really quickly here. Okay, can you see my screen?
I can hear. Yes, I've seen.
Okay.
I can see your screen. You can make
Fantastic.
It screen. Yeah, awesome.
Okay, awesome. So as Mudit introduced, my name is Vinny. I'm a solutions engineer with CircleCI. And so CircleCI is a continuous integration tool, and our mission is to make it as easy as possible to go from idea to delivery. Just a little bit about us. We were founded in 2011. We're now at more than 340 employees across 5 continents. We're trying to expand to 7 continents, but there's a lot of competition in Antarctica, so it's been kind of hard. We help teams build better software faster. And so what we do, the way we do this is via our cloud-hosted and self-hosted offerings of our continuous integration tool. We are trusted by more than 800,000 developers and 30,000 organizations worldwide. And down below, you can see some of the representative logos of companies who are some of our biggest or well-known customers. Where it sits in the tool chain, upstream you have your version control tools and services like GitHub, Bitbucket, etc. And then when you make a change and commit your code changes, what that does is it triggers a build on CircleCI automatically. And so we sit in the middle. We have customers automating us from the build process to various other miscellaneous tasks like actually deploying the code, building documentation, deploying documentation. We have customers doing security and code scans, linting the code. Various different tasks that you can automate. CircleCI can flexibly accommodate it. And then finally, downstream, once your code is tested, everything looks good, we deploy. And because of the way our system is architected, which I'll be showing you here in just a second, we can basically integrate with almost anything out there that has an API and is reachable via the internet. And so I guess showing you is better than trying to talk my way through it. And so really quickly, I'm going to walk you through a basic demo of the platform. It's not going to take more than a few minutes. This is a website that I have that I ripped off the Start Bootstrap template. And what I'm trying to do is deploy these static website files to an Amazon S3 bucket. Now, that's a very trivial use case. Not all use cases have to be this trivial, obviously. We have customers doing far more complex things. We have people doing mobile application builds on iOS and Android, and then pushing to the App Store. We have customers who are rolling out new microservice updates to their Kubernetes clusters. There are lots more complicated and big use cases that are being done on our platform. It's just that for our demos, we choose to keep the use case simple so that the focus stays on the product itself. If I flip over to the GitHub pull request here, you can see on the pull request that my build failed, which is obviously a problem, right? And so as a developer, I'm going to click on the details. I'm going to look through this, and I'm going to see, hey, my test job failed, and subsequently these other two jobs were blocked. If I click on this link here, I am taken to what is called the job details page. And on the job details page, you are given the information that you as the developer care about. All of these other steps pass, and so they are closed by default. And so the actual portion that fails is expanded, and I am immediately given the information that I want. I can see the output. I can see the errors from the tests that failed, and these are simple assertion errors. Now, sometimes when you're doing CI/CD, as I'm sure some of you have experienced before, sometimes the bugs or problems or errors are not so obvious, and it's not easy to tell what's going on just by looking at the output here. And so CircleCI offers a unique capability to rerun a job with SSH. What this will do is it will secure your environment with the SSH key that's in your GitHub or Bitbucket, your version control system, and then it will rerun this same exact job, but then open that port so that you can get inside the environment, poke around the files, look at logs, etc. And we have found, as well as our customers have found, that it is a huge game changer for productivity and being able to debug jobs, essentially. And so I noticed that there was a question that popped up in Q&A. Just in the interest of time and to get through things, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go through the presentation, and then we can circle back to answering questions at the very end. Hope that's okay with you. So if we head up one level from the job details page, you are given the workflows page. And on the workflows page, you can see, hey, these are how the jobs are related to each other. And you can see that because test failed, subsequently, these two other jobs were blocked. Now, the way that you configure this configuration on our platform is via a YAML file inside your repository. So on the right hand here, you can see the files and folders inside this repository. There is a .circleci folder here, and inside that .circleci folder, you've got the configuration.yaml. This is where you write the configuration for your jobs. And so here in the workflows definition, on the left-hand side here, you can see that I've configured a test parallel, and parameterized command. And these test parallel and parameterized command jobs require test. And that's how you configure the jobs and their interdependencies between each other. Now, you might have noticed that there are a whole bunch of other jobs here that are in the configuration that you don't see on the left-hand side. And that's because we offer the fine-grained capability to filter when you run certain jobs on our platform. Now, if I go down to the job definitions section here, you can see that all of these steps that you run and execute inside the configuration, they map one-to-one with what you see on the left-hand side. And so aside from a few special keys for certain functionality on our platform, everything is configured with this run command. And this run command is just a freeform bash command that you can use to essentially run whatever command you want to. And so on top of defining the execution environment, we support all the major operating systems. We support custom Docker images, things like that. You can also configure the individual steps that you run within them. And because of this flexibility in configuring the environment and the steps you run within them, this is how we are able to support integrating with so many different tools and accommodate so many different use cases, etc. A quick pause here for anybody who's still looking. And so this configuration right here is special for CircleCI because it's also what allows us to integrate together with so many partners. And that is what our orbs are. If I flip back to the slides, basically orbs on our system are going to be the integrations that we have with other partners. And all they are reusable, shareable packages of this YAML configuration. And the reason why this is powerful is because it's just YAML. And so if for some reason there is not an orb existing for a certain tool or integration, it doesn't mean that you're blocked. You don't have to sit down and learn a new language or learn new development tools. You just have to write YAML configuration yourself. And so it's not a blocking thing like it is on other platforms. Just an example here, you can see here in some of the configuration, you can template and reuse not just entire jobs, but also individual execution environments, as well as individual commands as well. And this is really great for organizations who are looking to standardize processes and steps across multiple projects or multiple teams and things like that. And so these orbs are what give us the ability to partner together with people like Lambda to give you convenient packaged YAML to integrate and use their tools. We have a lot of existing integrations. We have more than 60 internal maintained orbs by CircleCI. And then we have also a lot of partner orbs as well, and a total of more than 1,700 community orbs. And so there's a lot of great stuff out there for you to use. It's ready to go. Just kind of include it inside your configuration and then run it. And we can share these slides afterwards if you contact us and email the given email addresses. And so these are just some resources and links to get started with CircleCI, as well as more about orbs. And so given this context and background, I'd now like to hand it over back to Mudit to talk about LambaTest and how we've partnered together to bring better testing for all of you.
Thanks, Vinny, for the introduction on that part. Let me share my screen a little bit. And my screen is, you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
All right. So to give you a little bit of brief understanding about LambaTest, we are a cross-browser testing platform. What we does is we are an online infrastructure provider that will help you with cross-browser testing and browser compatibility testing. So I recently read a report by MDN, Mozilla Development Network, and as per that report, cross-browser testing compatibility issues are still like the top 5 major issues that the developers kind of face. So this is the issue that LambaTest kind of help in. We have around 2,000 plus different browsers, browser versions, browser combinations that are available. So for example, I'm using a LambaTest, I'm using a Windows server, Windows laptop, and if I want to test my application on a Safari-based browser, so I don't have a Safari laptop with me, I don't have a Safari desktop with me. So to do that, to test my application on Safari, I come to LambaTest. We will find the Safari browser, all the different versions of Mac OS, and you can test your website. So we have around 200,000 different users across the globe who are already using our platform right now. And the best thing about this is that we have integration with all the project management tools and the CI/CD tools that include CircleCI as well. And not just automation tests, you can perform live interactive testing as well. You can perform responsive testing as well. You can perform screenshot testing as well on our platform. So it's more of your end-to-end testing platform, Selenium with an automation capability around Selenium as well. So how LambaTest kind of fits in the Selenium, in the automation testing feature is that we have capability to run your Selenium-based automation grid, automation test across online Selenium grid. So you get both browser coverage, you get the different type of browser environments as well. You can also test your locally hosted or privately hosted apps as well, and not just desktop. You can also run on mobile. Different type of mobile browsers as well. So another good thing about our platform is that we kind of integrate with all, as I said, all CI/CD platforms that include CircleCI as well. We have around 40 plus integrations in addition to CircleCI that include project management tools like Slack, pay more, teamwork. We also integrate with codeless automation tools like Catalan Studio as well. So if you have any type of automation testing, we would be able to complement your testing cycle. So that's a little bit about LambaTest platform. So how LambaTest platform kind of integrates with CircleCI is what we call it related to orbs. So we as just Vinny just showed. So when you are integrating your current CI/CD pipeline, your current GitHub code with CircleCI, you kind of have to configure CircleCI.yml file. So in fact, let me kind of just show you this in a sample GitHub repository that I have. So I've created a simple CircleCI sample repository. In this, I have created a app and a test to run that app. So I have created a CircleCI YML file, a config.yml file that kind of defines the org. So I'm gonna run my app on it's a locally hosted app. And I'm gonna run this on a LambaTest platform. I'm gonna test this on LambaTest platform, and I'm gonna do this all via CircleCI pipeline. So to run that same app on a locally hosted platform, I need a org that kind of integrates LambaTest with CircleCI, and that is a very simple org, Lambda tunnel org. And to integrate it, you just have to define one line. It's as simple as that. And I'm kind of defining which browser I want to run on. I'm kind of defining what exactly the different processes that I want to start. I want to start a simple npm install because I'm using a TestNG code. Let me in fact show you the code as well. I'm using a simple TestNG code. Sorry, my bad. I'm using a simple Nightwatch code, Nightwatch.js code. It will kind of open up my localhost. It's a very simple app like this. It will perform few clicks on this, and based on that, it will give me a result like whether the test have passed or not. So how the pipeline kind of works is that I kind of define what's the process is. So whenever I do a commit in this particular repository, the CircleCI job is created. What it does, it kind of opens up an environment. It kind of prepares the environment variable. It automatically pulls up the code from GitHub. It extracts the tunnel binary that I have at my. It kind of extracts the tunnel binary that I have already in the cloud space. It runs an npm install. It executes the test and then closes the tunnel. So the whole process is automated. So whenever you are doing a commit in your code, it will automatically opens up LambaTest and make sure that the code is being run perfectly across all browsers and operating systems that you have already defined, right? So in fact, let me do a very simple edit on this as well. So I have opened up that particular test here. Let me, this is the simple app that I just showed you on the GitHub side. Whenever I paste it, it will create a pull request in GitHub. Let me create a test commit here, commit to master. And whenever I will hit a push origin, what it will do, it will trigger a CircleCI pipeline. Let me refresh the page. Right. So this is the CircleCI pipeline that is being running at right now. So I have named it a LambaTest tunnel. It is integrated with my GitHub. When you are logged in with CircleCI via GitHub, it will start on this way. So also another fact that Vinny kind of mentioned that you can run your test in parallel. So right now I am running only one parallel test as of now. However, if you go to your CircleCI based YML file. Give me a second. If you go to the CircleCI jobs that you are configuring, so if you mention multiple jobs here, you can run your test in parallel. So you can run multiple tests at the same time. This is totally supported at the LambaTest platform itself. You can run multiple tests in parallel. So right now I'm subscribed to only 2 parallel sessions. If you are subscribed to let's say 20 parallel sessions, you can run 20 different threads at the same time. So let me go back to my CircleCI pipeline that has been running at the same time. Give you a better idea. So here, so we are already at the step where I'm extracting the binary file. Once that binary file has been extracted, we will switch back to running an npm install, and after that we will kind of run the whole test, execute the test at the LambaTest platform. So once when we are executing the LambaTest test thread at the LambaTest platform, you will see a feedback at the LambaTest automation dashboard as well. So you log into your LambaTest, you define what test you want to see, and here you will find your test here based on the test name. This is a test that is being running right now. You can see that running test live at the LambaTest platform. So in my code, I have defined deliberately defined multiple pause functionalities, so that is kind of delaying it. But however, once the test has been completed run, you will see the test is complete. Once the test is complete, you will be able to see complete end-to-end logs related to that test that include the exception logs. For example, there were no exception in my test, so there were no exception log, but you will be able to see complete command logs. So that means that after execution of every Selenium command, our platform automatically takes a screenshot along with the parameters that have been added and the response of that parameters. So this will really help you in debugging at any stage. If your apps breaks up at any stage, you will be able to see what was the screenshot of that particular time. So you will be able to make sure if your website is like your test is breaking at that particular time, you will be able to debug it. And in addition to that, you will also get complete network logs. So this network log will really help you in making your performance and all the particular uh, elements are being loaded or not. So you will get complete end-to-end network logs that will help you out. And in addition, you will get complete Selenium raw logs. So if you are using any custom testing framework that utilizes these Selenium raw logs to kind of give you a more intelligent data, this is where you can use it. If you want to dig deeper into debugging and want to dig deeper into Selenium logs, you would be able to find your Selenium logs here as well. You will also get console logs. So if there were any errors in the console, for example, here there was an error related to favicon, you would be able to find your console errors here as well. And all of this data related to all of these logs, the metadata or like which browser version, and this all was utilized, you would be able to extract this as well via APIs. So you can use LambaTest APIs to kind of extract all this data to make sure to kind of debug this, to kind of give feedback to your developers and testers on how the testing is being run at the same time right now. So I do apologize, like my internet is a little bit of slow, so it is taking a little bit of more time to load. So yeah, as you can see in the APIs, you would be able to fetch all the data related to test sessions, related to what the tunnel was doing, what the build was doing, and everything. Right. So all of this can be extracted here. Another aspect that I wanted to highlight is how these tests are being run as well. So whenever you run a test, you have to define on which browser and operating system you want to run this test on. So this is a simple simple object called desired capabilities. So you have to, whenever you run a test, you have to define in your Selenium code an object called desired capabilities that define both the build name, test name, and the platform and the browser version that you are running your test on. So we have a very simple utility around that as well. If you go to the LambaTest platform, you will find in this help section capability generator. What it will does, it will create a simple code for you. For example, if you're using JavaScript, it will create a JavaScript object for you that defines which platform, browser name, version you want to run your test on. And there are other different aspects around this as well. For example, here I have defined visual true, video true, console true. This kind of defines what exactly the feedback you want to see at your platform. So for example, if you are going to LambaTest platform, you want to see this video. So this video is only visible if you are defining in your desired capability object that the video part is true. If you are defining this as false, it will kind of decrease the test execution time So your test will execute faster. However, you won't be able to see a video of that running test. So it's useful in the case where you know that you don't have to debug much. You just want the test to be executed faster. If you want to do a more thorough debug, you want to set all these parameters as true. Right. So that is a simple integration around LambaTest platform in the CircleCI. So let me in fact give you the end result that you also get. So as you can see, the whole pipeline has been executed. You will see the execution of the test. You will get the feedback as you see in your local console. You will see how this test is being running. So another question that users usually ask is that I already have my running test. I want to already have my Selenium test, how I can integrate it with LambaTest. So if you already have running tests with you, like running Selenium test, and you want to integrate it with LambaTest platform, the first step is that we have end-to-end documentation around it as well, so you can use that documentation to give you a helping hand. But the best part about it is that you have to just define where the test is being run. So if you already have a test with you, if you want to run the same test at LambaTest browser, you just have to define a different driver, and you have to define the desired capability object that we discussed a little bit earlier. So instead of calling a local web driver, like in Selenium, you would be calling a Chrome web driver or a Firefox web driver, you would be calling a remote web driver. This remote web driver would be present at a grid URL, LambaTest grid URL that you can find in your LambaTest dashboard. So whenever you log into your LambaTest dashboard, in this key icon here, you will be able to see your hub URL. You will be able to see your username and access key. Again, this username and access key has been defined here as an object name, and you have to define a desired capability object. Now, this is again an area where CircleCI helps you out, right? So you want to make this username and password. Usually it is a common one across the complete organization. You want to make sure that it is in a secure area. However, it is not shared with all the users. So what you do is you define your username and password as an environment variable, and you define this environment variable in your settings. So in the CircleCI, if you go to the CircleCI area, you will go to your organization. You will find your settings here where you can define your project settings here, where you can define your environment variable. If you go to your project settings, there you will find the area called environment variables. Here you can define your email, your key, and your username. So it's kind of not visible to all the users, but it kind of gives you a better way to manage your environment variables. So it really helps you out in the long term in making sure that all the dependencies are there in your present CI/CD pipeline. So that's how it works. You kind of create a complete pipeline, and your that includes your GitHub, that includes CircleCI, that includes LambaTest. It's a whole conglomeration of all these tools that are working together perfectly to give you a single better output. And every time you commit, every time you do a push, you will be able to see how that particular object, how that particular push commit that you have made is working overall or not. So if there are any errors, you will see of the failed running test in your CircleCI pipeline. You will be able to also see what exactly the error was and kind of debug on it. If everything was success, you will get a feedback like this, everything is perfect. You can the next process of the flow can happen. And if everything is perfect, like you can also automate everything to kind of give you a better idea. So another aspect that I have not in fact done it, maybe in the future aspects I will do it, is that you will get a feedback on the test as well. You can define in your test that once the test has been run, XML file would be generated that give you a better idea whether the test has been passed or failed, or the assertions has been passed or failed. So this is something that I'm not configured right now in my code because like I needed some time to research on it. But this is very super easy task to kind of give you a better idea how what exactly you have to debug, where exactly you are kind of failing in the test and take steps to make it better. Right. So overall, it will give you you can run your test in parallel. You can increase your browser coverage. You can decrease your test execution time by running test in parallel and all. So there are two ways how you can run your test in parallel. One is you can use the inbuilt capabilities of the framework itself. So for example, if you are using TestNG, TestNG has an inbuilt functionality that can help you run your test in parallel. Or if you are using CircleCI, you can use CircleCI configuration itself to run your test in parallel. You can run your jobs in parallel. Also, as Vinny showed you earlier, you can run your test in parallel, and that will give you a faster overall test execution time. I think I kind of covered all these topics. Vinny, let me know, do you have any more aspects to cover? Shall I pass it on to you?
No, I don't have anything additional to add. Thank you for showing us LambaTest. That's very cool, and I can see why this is very extremely useful for easily, conveniently testing across a whole bunch of different browsers. I actually didn't know about LambaTest before we did this webinar, so I'm going to have to check it out.
So yeah, we are a complementary platform to CircleCI as well. So it's CircleCI is the glue that kind of holds everything together. It's a complementary product to LambaTest. So as you mentioned, like the whole DevOps cycle, there are multiple different tools that are working together, acting together. LambaTest is one of the things that can make your life easier. You get a better browser coverage, you get a better execution time. In addition, you get a complete smooth pipeline. So using CircleCI, you kind of automate all the different small and in fact larger steps as well. And each and every commit kinds of give you a more easy feedback on whether you are going in the right direction or going in the wrong direction, right? So that's what the world of these products is. It just makes your life easier.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. We have a question from Vasanta Kumar who asked, how is Lambda testing different from browser stack?
Right. So that is one of the major questions that we are being asked. So yeah, LambaTest is kind of very similar to browser stack. The major difference would be around areas related to performance. We have better browser coverage, we have faster execution time, and we have more integrations with different project management tools around as well. But overall, it's kind of similar to the browser stack platform, and kind of complementary to each other as well. For example, we kind of do more integrations with project management tools like Paymo, TeamCity, Teamworks, these kind of things. So it will help you out in this longer stuff.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that, Mudit. We have another question here, also from Vasanta Kumar, which is, how is CircleCI different from Jenkins? What are the advantages? And so I'll really quickly go ahead and answer that one. Basically, rather than going through like a laundry list of all these great features that CircleCI has, I guess I can sum everything up into just two things, which is going to be time and convenience. First of all, CircleCI, whether it's the self-install or the cloud-hosted version, you don't have to manage your own infrastructure, right? With Jenkins, you have to configure, hey, if I want to add a new builder machine, I have to set up this VM, I have to install the agent, I then have to connect the agent back to the server, things like that. With CircleCI, you don't have to configure any of that. Everything scales up for you. You want 200 machines, you get 200 machines. You want a Windows machine or a Mac machine, it's just changing a line in your configuration file. And so there's convenience there, there's speed, and there's a lot of value in not having to deal with all of that yourself. In addition, we also have a lot of features dedicated to optimizing for total wall clock time. And those features, some of those features are things that Mudit covered already. The parallelism, you can run lots of jobs in parallel, and you can additionally, within one job, you can split your tests to run smaller portions of workloads on different environments. And so that further reduces the amount of time it takes for jobs to run. You can configure resources in your environment. So you can ask for more RAM, ask for more CPU cores for heavy workloads. You can additionally use our powerful caching capabilities on CircleCI. For example, if you're building Docker images for production, you can basically use what our feature is called Docker layer caching, which is where Docker image layers are cached, and that will help subsequently speed up builds in the future dramatically. We've had some customers go from 12, 13-minute Docker image builds down to 2 minutes. And so in general, just lots of really great features on CircleCI that help you optimize for speed and getting things reliably done quickly. Hope
So
that answers your question.
to give you a more idea around this part as well. So I'm a third party here. To be fair, I use both CircleCI and I've used Jenkins as well in the past. Uh, to set up Jenkins, as Vinny also said, you have to kind of define your own space. So you have to set up a whole server. You have to configure it. There are like thousands of different configurations that go into it. That kind of makes if you are a very pro player in this, that configuration may help you out. But if you are newbie like me, if you are just starting up, you don't have a like very advanced use case, those kind of configuration does not make much of sense. So when I was setting up there initially as a like complete beginner to this, it took me like 5 days to kind of set up the whole Jenkins pipeline. However, with CircleCI, I did this stuff like within a day, and that also because I was lazy there, right? I was not very good in the researching part. If I really feel it about it, it would have taken me not more than like 5 to 6 hours maximum to set up the whole pipeline, whole test, everything. So that's where the CircleCI comes into play. It makes your life easier, right? That's the main point about using these kind of tools, that it makes your life easier. It will help you in setting up the browser configuration. It will help you set up in the which type of Docker image you want, which there's a like, whole bunch of pre-built Docker cache files that you can use with the CircleCI. You won't have to do as many configurations with CircleCI. Just makes your life much easier, right? So that's my recommendation on using the CircleCI part. Right. So another question we have from Greg is related to the Catalan. How LambaTest is different from Catalan. So to answer your question, there's a huge difference between LambaTest and the Catalan platform. Is that the Catalan is more of a uh, online is more of a way to kind of run your codeless automation. It will help you in creating your automation test, running those automation tests across different browsers. However, once you have to run those same tests across different browsers, browser configurations as well, that's where LambaTest comes into picture. So LambaTest integrates with Catalan platform directly. So you can run both your Catalan test at LambaTest platform. So you can integrate both of these tools together. So Catalan does not help you with different type of browser configuration. It does not help you with a greater browser coverage. So you can integrate LambaTest and Catalan to get the both capabilities around codeless automation testing, and at the same time to get a better integration around the running your test in a browser coverage. So you get all of the two best things in a single integrated ecosystem. So we have documentation around this as well, that you will find here, LambaTest support documentation. We also have multiple webinars with Catalan as well. We did a previously webinar with Catalan that focuses on how you can integrate Catalan with LambaTest. So maybe you can explore that part as well. Vinny, there is another question around CircleCI. Maybe you can help us out with CircleCI and Octopus deploy.
Yeah, for sure. So answering the question, basically the question was right now they're using Jenkins and Octopus deploy. Does CircleCI come up with deployment features? So as of right now, CircleCI is very CI centric. We integrate with tools like Octopus deploy. And so essentially, if we were talking about your setup, CircleCI directly competes with and replaces Jenkins. And we work together with tools like Octopus deploy, Harness, and various other CD tools to help you automate your deployment processes.
Right. So you can also, I think there's a blog around this as well at the CircleCI platform. You can refer to it. It's a very recent blog in April of 29 that can give you a better idea how exactly you can use this and work around this.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for pulling that up, Mudit.
Right. So let me know, guys, if you are have any more questions around it. We would be happy to help. We have still a lot of time to kind of go into it. Any crazy question, we will be happy to take it. No, I think that's it from our side. Vinny, do you have anything to add on this conversation? I think we have kind of covered most of the areas around this. Let me know if there's anything more to be added.
No, not that I can think of. I think that we've covered a lot of the basics. I think the rest of it is just, oh, actually, it looks like there is a different question that just popped up here. Is LambaTest cheaper than Browser Stack?
Yes, yes. To be fair, we are a little bit of we are more affordable that browser style. Let me in fact put up the pricing part as well. LambaTest pricing. So if you go at LambaTest pricing, our plan starts at $1.99 for web and mobile. If you are doing just web, so I already have like 2 parallel sessions subscribed, so it's showing the 2 parallel testing session. If you go with the LambaTest platform, it would be a little bit more affordable in the sense of switching over to our platform. Uh, and if you have any questions around it, right, just pop up to our platform. We have an in-app chat support feature that you can use to kind of do any interaction we have. We are very fast in our response time as well. That will kind of give you a more bit that can help you out in more detailed explanations around any features of the platform. That in fact is one of the features that kind of differentiates our platform, that we have a very fast turnaround time. Like we have a turnaround time in minutes. Anytime you face any question, you just have to put your like query here, and there will be somebody out there to help you out over this. There's another question that relates to test project.io. So this is something that we are kind of working on right now. You will very soon see an integration between test project.io and LambaTest. You would be able to run your test project.io based test at LambaTest platform, and hopefully, like you can scale it even further from there. Vinny, does there is anything like intersecting test project IO and CircleCI? I'm not very sure.
That one I'm not sure about. I'd have to take some time to take a look at it. So
Yes, to give you a better idea, like this project IO is a codeless test automation testing platform. So I think there would be some kind of integration on that part as well while running your test and integrating this as well. So as Vinny also mentioned, there is a huge ton of APIs as well available to kind of do a complete in-house integrations between different platforms. So maybe those APIs can help you out in this integration. Vinny, I think there is another question around CircleCI related to tutorials. I think there are huge ton of tutorials available on this, right?
yeah, so we have documentation available online, including a complete introduction. You can just go to circleci.com/docs. And then this is kind of related to another question asked by Tarun. They're asking if where they could get slides. And so I think I think what we can do is after the webinar is over, we usually send the follow-up. We usually send follow-up emails with the webinar recording. And so what happens is that you can email certain email addresses to get a copy of the slides. I'm trying to remember exactly what the email address was, but I actually cannot remember right now. Mudit, is it okay if they email you and ask you for slides?
Yeah,
And then
exactly. So that's what I was getting at. So anytime we would be sharing, this recording is right now being shared on YouTube as well. It would be recorded on YouTube as well. So once we are done with the webinar, we will be sharing you this whole recording of this session, as well as we will be hosting this these slides over SlideShare as well, and we will be sharing you that link. You also can send me a one-to-one mail at muditest@lambdatest.com, or you can also, as I mentioned earlier, you can also go to LambaTest website and drop a message here at our chat support. So anytime you face an issue, you want to know more about it, just drop us a message and there will be somebody out there to help you out. For example, from my team, Keshav. He has just replied. He is actually an automation expert, right? And he knows much about CircleCI, GitLab CI, Jenkins as well. He would be happy to help you out. Just give us a ping and we will be there to help.
Yeah, we have so there's like this weird functionality in like Zoom webinars where you can like kind of raise your hand or something like that. It looks like Sushobit. Sorry, if I don't know if I'm completely messing up. Did you have a question?
Yes, Shubhit, if you have any question, just drop us a message at the QA side and then we will take care of it. No? Most probably
Okay.
maybe just check. Right. So I think that kind of covers everything. Uh, we have no more questions. I think most of the questions have been answered. Uh, yeah. So I think we have covered most of the parts. So again, let's close the session. And again, let me thank you guys for joining us this webinar on this time and helping us out, making this webinar a success. And first of all, a great huge shout out to Micheal Vinny. He really helped us out in this and showed more about what exactly CircleCI is and helped us out. Really thank you for your time, Vinny.
Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you for co-hosting this, and thank you all for attending.
Awesome. So as we mentioned earlier, this would be hosted live on YouTube as well, where you can check more around it. If you have any questions, just drop us a message and we'll be there to help you out. To end this, have a great day ahead, everybody. Stay safe. We know that this is a very crazy time going on with the COVID-19, but do be strong in this. We are going to overcome it one way or another, and the world is going to go normal, the new normal, but it will go normal very soon. And hope to see you all working together as well.
Yep, thank you. Take care, everyone.
Have a great day.